see, 1, 3, 6, 8, 11, 24. Good afternoon from the Rike Center in Westerrville, Ohio, and the campus of Otterbein University. It's NCAA Division III Volleyball in the second round of the NCAA tournament. I'm Mark Piper with you here for this matchup between the Ohio Northern University Polar Bears and the Otterbein Cardinals. It's a conference affair in this second round, and while Otterbein has won this face-off twice this season, once in the regular season, once in the OAC Tournament Championship, things are going to look a little bit different with some late-breaking news in this game. Otterbein is going to be without OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp. She's been ruled out for today's game because of an injury that occurred, I believe, earlier in practice today and has not been cleared. So Otterbein without OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp is certainly going to be a big thing for the rest of her teammates to try and work through and process, as I'm sure not only were they excited looking forward to this match, just being in the NCAA tournament and playing a rival, but to have to do so now without the player who was the unanimous Player of the Year in the conference certainly makes it imperative that other players on the team step up. That all being said, Otterbein is in the midst of their best season in school history. They have a record of 30-3. They won a share of the regular season title with Ohio Northern, and they defeated the Polar Bears for that OAC Tournament Championship to get the automatic bid to this tournament. So for Otterbein, it's something to overcome, but it's not as though they're without capable players. They certainly have a lot of honor among the players that are there, including two other first-team All-OAC players in Hadley Starrett, who had a big night last night versus Cabrini and will be expected, I'm sure, to help lead the way quite a bit here this afternoon. Starrett led the OAC in kills per set this season. Also, you have the nation's leader in assists in Andrea Miller, who was a first-team All-OAC player. So again, another one that they may turn to for some leadership on the court tonight. All OAC honorable mentions. You have Marie Thornton and Alana King-Mendenhall also for the Cardinals. So it's not as though one player, in a sense, makes or breaks the team, but certainly it's a critical piece of the puzzle that they would prefer to have out there tonight rather than having Lowenkamp unable to play. The Cardinals advanced to the second round matchup with a win over Cabrini last night in very convincing fashion. Otterbein won that in straight sets, 25-13, 25-15, 25-17, and never really seemed to be challenged all that much by the Cavaliers from Radnor, Pennsylvania. Ohio Northern, on the other hand, they come in with a record of 28-5, also 8-1 in the OAC in the regular season. They made the second round by defeating DePauw yesterday, and it looked like they were going to cruise to that win as they led 2-0. And then DePauw came back, won the next two sets, and took it all the way to a 17-15 score in the final set before Ohio Northern pulled it out. When these two teams met earlier this year, Otterbein won at Ada 3-2. They won in straight sets in the OAC championship just 1 week ago. But obviously, this is a much different situation. You've got a key player out. You've got a different setting in it being the NCAA tournament. And if you look even at just sort of one of those old sports maxims that it's difficult to beat the same team 3 times in one season, that potentially is one of the challenges facing Otterbein as they come into this game. The teams are entering in rather dramatic fashion to AC/DC. I presume, as with a lot of things at NCAA events, that this is actually part of a sort of like NCAA sanctioned music playlist that they play during downtime and even at situations such as this. Ohio Northern will be in black with orange numbers. Otterbein in their traditional home uniforms in tan with the black numbers and black and red trim. And as we get ready, here are the starting lineups for both teams. First, for Ohio Northern, they start number 3, Katie Wade, a freshman from Battle Creek, Michigan. Number 6, Michaela Charlo, a defensive specialist out of Tiffin. Number 13, Chelsea Uppert, a middle hitter from Bremen, Indiana. Number 16, Haley Potters, a middle hitter from Wheelersburg. Number 18, McKenna Hostetler, a defensive specialist from Plain City, Ohio. Number 26, McKenna Jordan, a sophomore from Toledo. And then the libero for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears is number 15, Megan Nisala. Again, Ohio Northern 28-5 on the season. They are from Ada, Ohio. This is their 30th NCAA appearance, and they come in ranked 20th in the nation to this tournament. For the Otterbein Cardinals, their starters will be a little bit different from last night. So you have number 1, Hadley Sterrett, the transfer from Wright State University and a junior from Huron, Ohio. Number 3, Andrea Miller, the junior setter from Grove City. Number 6, Alana King-Mendenhall, a junior from Columbus. Number 8, Tate Eppert, a freshman from Greenwood Village, Colorado, gets the call tonight with Morgan Lowenkamp being out. Number 11, Marie Thornton, a middle hitter from Willard. Number 24, Olivia Harris, a junior from Athens. And the libero is Ashlyn Leone, who's also from Dublin, Scioto. So those are your starting lineups for this second round NCAA tournament match between the Ohio Northern University Polar Bears and the Otterbein Cardinals. As we wait to get things started, we'll go ahead and run through some scores from other events happening today in the OAC. Otterbein's football team finished off their season with a winning record as they defeated Marietta 48-14 to snap a losing streak that they'd been having and to finish the season on a positive note for them. Elsewhere in OAC football today, the big matchup would have been Mount Union and John Carroll, and the Purple Raiders got what I would call a pretty narrow win, or at least by their usual standards. They defeated John Carroll, but it was 31-24, much closer than what the Purple Raiders usually are involved in. Ohio Northern won over Baldwin Wallace in football 42-25. Also Heidelberg 63, Capital 20, Muskingum 41, and Wilmington 7. Men's soccer in the NCAA tournament going on today. Right now, just across the way from here, the Otterbein men's team is playing host to Medaille College. John Carroll will host Calvin tonight at 7, and Capital plays in Illinois as they are going up against Dominican, that game at 8:30 Eastern. Women's soccer NCAA tournament scores from the conference. Ohio Northern defeated Penn State Behrend 2-0. So Ohio Northern certainly looking to make it a clean sweep for their teams today. I will point out for Otterbein, cross country had some positive results, particularly the women's cross country team. A 4th place finish overall in the Great Lakes Regional, and Claire Lamb and Heather Sandvik each receiving all region honors and will be going to the NCAA championships as they finish 3rd and 4th today. But the matter at hand is here between the Otterbein and Ohio Northern volleyball teams as we're set to start. Ohio Northern will serve with McKenna Hostetler ready to begin things in this match from the Rike Center. Thanks for tuning in to Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. And while I'm sure you're enjoying listening to me, or at least I hope you're enjoying listening to me, if you would like to listen to the men's soccer game for Otterbein, tune into 97.5 FM WOBN or WOBN.net to hear that. Starrett, Miller, and Thornton spikes it for the kill. Otterbein goes up 1-0. That certainly has to make the team feel a little bit better, even just with the late news of Lowenkamp not being able to play, to kind of jump out right away with the positive. And it's answered the other way by their libero, Megan Nizala, who's wearing number 30. (1-1) here in the first set. The serve by Haley Potters is into the net. Point to the Cardinals. Ashlyn Leone now to serve for Otterbein. Dinked across, and Otterbein's dug out by Leone and then cleared over by the Cardinals. But the kill for Ohio Northern, that's McKenna Jordan. (2-2) here in the first set. Katie Wade serving. Leone, Miller, and Starrett getting it across. And a hit into the net is productive for McKenna Jordan as Otterbein's unable to cover it. 3-2 Polar Bears. Wade serves. Dig by Starrett, set. And over by Thornton. Emily Shuck with the big hit, saved, and cleared over. Or not. Otterbein evens things up 3-3 here in the first set. Hillary Starrett now serving for Otterbein. Set, and there's McKenna Jordan, this time on the right side, killing it. 2 substitutions for Ohio Northern as Sydney Babst and Kristen Langston enter. Langston will serve. She is a sophomore from Versailles. Or actually, I'd be Versailles. I'm thinking the French pronunciation there. Set by Miller. Spiked by Eppert, but Ohio Northern answers, and they'll get the point. 5-3 Ohio Northern here in the first set of the second round of the NCAA tournament. Second match of the day here as earlier Wittenberg defeated Juniata 3-1. Starrett with the big hit, but it's dug out, set up. Block on the front by Shuck. Ohio Northern finds that soft spot in the way the players are spread out, and the Polar Bears take a 6-3 lead. Langston serving again for Ohio Northern. But this one's going to be long. And with that, we'll see a change in the lineup as Olivia Harris enters and Emily Schuck comes out. Served by Harris. Dug out by Hillary Starrett, set by Andrea Miller. And Hadley Starrett with the kill. Ohio Northern 6, Otterbein 5. Harris serving. Blocked there on the front by Hadley Starrett. Now Leone to Miller. Miller had her return stuffed but got it back. Starrett, Miller. Just dipped across there by Eppard. Otterbein and Ohio Northern went back and forth, and there's Hadley Starrett with the kill. She led the team in that category last night, and no surprise, Otterbein will be leaning on her this evening. If you're just tuning in, OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp ruled out to play because of an injury suffered earlier today. Starrett blocked. Miller sets. Starrett again. This one's good. Otterbein 7, Ohio Northern 6. Nice crowd on hand today at the Rike Center. Certainly Otterbein fans have their pick just within a few hundred feet of which NCAA game they want to attend right now. Coming back the other direction, Ohio Northern gets the point on the kill. That is number 13, Chelsea Huppert. Northern serving with the score tied at 7. Miller sets. Starrett is long with this one. Dug out by Hillary Starrett, Miller, and there's Hadley Starrett, but again a little too strong with her spike. And Ohio Northern leads 9-7. Starrett, Miller, and the kill for Tate Eppard. Eppard again the one getting the call for the starting lineup today with Lowenkamp out with injury. Ohio Northern up by 1, 9-8. Katie Wade just kind of chucks it over and again catches Otterbein unaware. Polar Bears up by 2. Michaela Charlo, a junior from Tiffin, to serve for Ohio Northern. Leone, Miller, Starrett going with the softer touch that time. Miller, Leone, and Starrett. Langston hits it backwards, and none of her teammates are able to chase that one down. So Otterbein pulls within 1 at 10-9. Andrea Miller, a junior from Grove City, to serve for the Cardinals. And she gets an ace, as it looks like Megan Nuzala just sort of lost track of what she wanted to do there. Miller goes toward the same direction. Langston, Wade, and then hit over, but long. And Ohio Northern falls a point behind. Otterbein 11, Ohio Northern 10. Miller going for that same corner. And the hit is just a little bit wide by Sydney Babst. Otterbein with a 2-point advantage. Substitution for the Polar Bears. Langston comes out, and Brenna D, a senior from Macomb, enters the lineup. Miller picking on that same part of where she served all these others. Babst gets it in front of a diving Miller and Hadley Starrett, and the Cardinals' lead is cut to 12-11. Serving is McKenna Hofstetler. Starrett, Miller, and a big hit by Sterrett for the point for Otterbein. Well, you can see why she had previously been at a Division I university. She transferred here from Wright State, and she's made a big impact on this team, and certainly so far in this match today. Sterrett, Miller, Thornton with the dink over. Wade hits it to Miller. Leone setting it up. Sterrett, Nizala, Wade, and a big hit for the point by Potters. Otterbein 13, Ohio Northern 12. Nizala will check out as Huppert is in again for Ohio Northern. Dig by Sterrett, set by Miller. The block there on the front, I believe it was Huppert, who's the one who rejected the Otterbein spike, and that ties it up at 13. Dig by Shuck, Leone, and then Sterrett just to get it over. Big hit, dug out by Sterrett, Leone, and there's Shuck. Wade sets it up. Miller digs it out, and then the spike by Sterrett. Wade slices it past Miller, and Ohio Northern retakes the lead at 14-13. So far, back and forth here in this first set, as you might imagine, from two teams not only having excellent seasons, but also very familiar with one another. Marie Thornton with the big hit, but that's dug out. Leone, I think probably if she lets that one by, Hadley Sterrett's able to handle that a little bit better, but Leone gets the touch on it, and Ohio Northern gets the point. Potter serving. Leone, Miller, King Mendenhall, point to the Cardinals. So it seems to be about each team goes maybe getting a 2 or 3 points at a time, but then the other team seems to be able to answer them with the 2 or 3 in a row of their own. Leone serving. Wade, and that one's blocked by Shuck as she stuffs Huppert, and Otterbein knots it at 15. Leone serve. Wade, Jordan, touched on the front, and that just may be enough to throw the timing off a little for Sterrett and for Leone at the back. Ohio Northern up 16-15. I'll point out last week Otterbein defeated Ohio Northern 25-17, 25-18, 25-17. We'll get to what their first matchup was here in a moment. Thornton with the kill, and it's tied at 16. So when these two teams faced off in Ada on October 14, it went 5 sets. Otterbein won the first 2, 25-20, 25-17. The Polar Bears answered with wins of 25-18, 25-23, and then Otterbein winning that decisive 5th set, 15-10, not quite a month ago. Tate Eppard with the kill, and Otterbein's lead is 1 at 17-16. So far, so good for the Cardinals without Lowenkamp. They don't seem to have been shaken like perhaps you would have expected with the late news close to game time that she wasn't going to be available. And that's initially ruled in, but now they're saying no with Eppard's hit. So that ties it at 17. Kristen Langston back in and to serve. Dug out by Leone, set by Miller. Eppard was blocked, but now Shuck has it to get it over. Miller's set just goes over the net. Dug out by Leone. There's Miller. Shuck blocked at the front. And the hit's wide. And I guess they're saying it was tipped by Otterbein because it certainly landed out. But the point to the Polar Bears, they lead 18-17. Langston serving. Dug by Hillary Sterrett. Hadley Sterrett spikes. Set by Nizala. And they're saying it clips just inside there to get the point for Ohio Northern. They lead 19-17 here in this first set in the second round of the NCAA tournament in the Westerrville, Ohio Regional. I'm Mark Pfeiffer. You're watching Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly an exciting weekend for this university community, as you have not only this going on right now, but you have Otterbein men's soccer happening steps from where we are right now. Over at Memorial Stadium, the Cardinals are playing Medaille in the NCAA tournament. Just so that you know, in the event that they win that game, they will play tomorrow at 5 versus the winner of Kenyon and Transylvania. I mentioned a little bit before about how the Otterbein women's cross country team had a successful day earlier in Powell, Ohio. In the Great Lakes Regional, they finished 4th place out of 35 teams, and they had juniors Claire Lamb and Heather Sandvik earn places in the NCAAs with 3rd and 4th place finishes. Otterbein had 6 runners in the top 100. They just missed an automatic qualification for that NCAA championships, but we'll be waiting until tomorrow at 3 to find out if they get one of the non-automatic qualifying bids for the national meet next week. Point to Ohio Northern there, and the Polar Bears are up 20-17 here in the first set. So a critical juncture right now. 3 points in a row run off by Ohio Northern, and they're creeping just a little bit closer to this 25 that they need. Miller, Shuck, dug out. Wade sets it. Leone saves it, and they're going to say again, looks like they're saying Otterbein was in the net. So that makes it 21-17, and head coach Monica Wright, the OAC Coach of the Year, will take a timeout, as right now this is a part in this set when you can ill afford any other mistakes. Ohio Northern just 4 points away from taking it. So again, going back, women's cross country for the Otterbein team, they had a 4th place finish at the Great Lakes Regional today. Claire Lamb and Heather Sandvik will run in the NCAA championships. The team as a whole will wait until tomorrow at 3 to find out if they get a non-automatic bid to run in the national meet in Elsa, Illinois. As for the men's cross country team, I think you could say positive results for them. They had a 10th place finish at the regional. That was also in Powell. It's an 8K race that was hosted by Ohio Wesleyan. And Calvin ended up winning it with a team score of 61 points, and DePaul second with 49. Otterbein lead runner was sophomore Wyatt Gardner, who was 48th place individually in a field of 242 runners. And this season he led the team or tied for the lead 4 different times. But back to action here between Otterbein and Ohio Northern. Cardinals down by 4. Sterrett will get it over. Dug out by Hillary Sterrett, set, and just again cleared by Alyssa Elsey. Miller for Shuck, blocked. Ohio Northern again trying. They almost miss-hit there, and they just were lucky to get it over. Shuck again tips it across. Chucked over. Leone digs it out. Falling over is Miller. There's Shuck. No big hits yet. There's one dug out by Hillary Sterrett. Miller gets it across. Big hit blocked by Miller. Some of them wanting a call for being in the net, and Otterbein will get the point. A big one for the Cardinals to win there. They're down 21-18 here in this first set. Olivia Harris serving. Dug out by Nizala. Miller, Leone, Hadley Sterrett, kind of in an awkward spot, but gets it across. Otterbein's front line. Are they going to say they touched the net? No. Otterbein gets the point. It looked like potentially they might penalize the Cardinals on that, but instead the call goes against Ohio Northern. So Otterbein down 21-17, grabs 2 points in a row, and Ohio Northern will take a timeout. So obviously a strategic and critical part of this set for both teams, that you can see them being especially careful not to let the momentum shift too much either direction, lest that get away from them and you end down a set. So again, how we got here, these teams yesterday, Ohio Northern scraped out a win over DePaul 3-2, and having to go to 17-15 to win that 5th set yesterday. Otterbein had a pretty easy go of it with Cabrini in a straight set win. Earlier than today, the team advancing to the regional final, as most would probably predict, it is Wittenberg University who defeated Juniata 3-1. Although that was closer than that score might seem to indicate. Juniata hung with them pretty close in that 4th set. So the winner of this game plays Wittenberg tomorrow in the regional final. That will be at 2 p.m. If Otterbein advances, we will have the call for you here on YouTube with Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. Olivia Harris serving for Otterbein. Cardinals down 21-19 here in the 1st set. It's across, dug out by Nuzala, set by Wade. Big hit and the kill. That's Chelsea Hubbard for Ohio Northern. 22-19 ONU. Nuzala, the libero, serving. Set by Miller. Starrett goes for a soft touch to get it over. But the kill for Sydney Babst. And Ohio Northern up 23-19. Starrett, and then over. I believe Miller was the one to get the touch on that. Stuff at the front by Alyssa Alsay. Hadley Starrett with a big hit, dug out by Nuzala. Miller for Starrett, and it's wide. Ohio Northern 24, Otterbein 19. So set point here being served. Hadley Starrett with the hit. Starrett, Miller, Starrett, point to the Cardinals. Well, they have their work cut out for them. They have to get 5 in a row to at least make it a little less uncomfortable. They've got one of those 5. It's 24-20. Serving will be Kaylin Schreier. Langston, Wade. Dug out by Harris, Miller, Starrett. And that should be, yes, and it will be Otterbein's point. The official actually first signaling Ohio Northern, which probably gave a heart attack to a few people, thinking how in the world that couldn't have been the Cardinals. Otterbein down 24-21 in serving. Langston, Wade, and Polar Bears get the point. Haley Potters tips it across and finds that vulnerable spot. 25-21, Ohio Northern takes the 1st set here in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament. I'm Mark Pfeiffer. You're watching Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. So we talked about cross country here recently. I will point out again that Otterbein's football team had a productive afternoon on the road. They defeated Marietta by a score of 48-14. That means the football team finishes the season 6-4. So overall, a winning year for them that I'm sure a lot of people within this department are very pleased with. Update in men's soccer. Otterbein University leads Medaille College 1-0. Currently that's at 25:07 in the first half of that one. If I can pull this up fast enough, the goal for Otterbein was scored by Noah Coons. So Otterbein up 1-0 over Medaille College in first round NCAA tournament action for men's soccer going on right now at Memorial Stadium. The story so far here for Otterbein and Ohio Northern is the fact that the Cardinals are having to play this match without OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp. Not being brought up as an excuse, but it's certainly one of those things that is a potential difference maker between two very evenly matched teams today. So far, you've got 20 kills on the Ohio Northern side to 13 for Otterbein, and more than half of those for the Cardinals belonging to Hadley Sterrett. She has 7 kills of the 13, and as you would expect, they're going to rely on her a lot today to try and get this win and advance to the regional final tomorrow at 2 against Wittenberg. Leader on kills for Ohio Northern is Chelsea Hubbard with 7. She's not touched the ball quite as much as Hadley Sterrett has for Otterbein, but they appear to be so far the two kind of going toe-to-toe. I realize volleyball, it's not the same as a matchup as you would have in other sports, but in terms of the numbers so far, that's where things stand. Just about ready to start. I mean, both teams are, I think, ready to go. Still about 30 seconds remaining on that clock in the break between sets here between these teams. Okay, Andrea Miller to serve for Otterbein here in set number 2. Otterbein, as they did with the first set, gets the first point. We'll see if things progress differently than the way the first set played out. Miller serving. Nizala sets. Attacked by McKenna Jordan. Miller has trouble handling that first touch and hits it into the net. Otterbein cannot return it. And we're even at 1 in the second set. Dig by Hadley Sterrett, set by Andrea Miller. Kill for Alana King Mendenhall. Unlike last night, where in the Rike Center you really could feel the place buzzing, it does seem to be a little more subdued, which may figure with Otterbein behind at the moment. 1-0, but they've got a 3-1 lead as you get the ace for Hadley Sterrett on that serve. Attack by Jordan. Thornton blocked or into the net. I can't, from where I am, can't quite tell if it was one the other or a combination. Katie Wade to serve. She's a freshman for the Polar Bears. Leone digs. Attacked by King Mendenhall. Miller sets it up. Set by Sterrett and over by Thornton. She is able to get that by, I think, well, Nizala was going for it, and also chasing it was McKenna Hostetler. She dove out to try and dig it. 4-2 Otterbein here in the second set. Leone serves. And there you get the point for Otterbein as Tate Eppard is there to handle one that I don't know that Ohio Northern maybe meant to get over the net on that touch. Big hit, but it's dug out and over by Miller. Jordan gets it across, but there's Sterrett to dig, set by Miller. Shuck with the spike. Set by Miller. Hadley Sterrett with the attack. Jordan. And there's that just no man's land in the middle where it seems like everybody, isn't quite sure whose it's going to be, and it ends up being a point for Ohio Northern. Otterbein the leads here in the second set, 5-3. Langston serves. Dug by Hadley Sterrett. It was a nice save, but nobody else is able to follow up her initial hit. 5-4 Otterbein. Langston serving. Sterrett, and hits that one right over toward the official. So Langston, it does appear to maybe be a bit of a server specialist for this Ohio Northern team. I noticed last night that when she would come in, they'd seem to be able to pull off a few points in a row, and here again today that's happened. Thornton's blocked. Leone can't really do anything with what gets returned, and just like that, it's 6-5 Ohio Northern. So 4 points in a row for them. Leone, Miller, Shuck, point Cardinals. Even up at 6. Hillary Sterrett will enter. Marie Thornton will exit. The younger Sterrett serving. Wade sets, and that one's going to be in. Give the kill to Sydney Babst. ONU 7, Otterbein 6. Set number 2, Ohio Northern leading 1-0. Dig by Sterrett, set by Miller, and the cross by Eppard. Block there up front, now dug out, set up, and Shuck, with the assistance of the net, is able to get the point and even things at 7. Olivia Harris comes in for Shuck. Harris, a junior outside hitter from Athens. She'll serve. Dug by Langston. And there you just see that that first touch up against the net, sometimes throwing them off, as that time Eppard hit it on the return, and Otterbein's not able to do anything with it. 8-7 ONU. This one chased down by Miller, but not enough that the rest of her teammates can do to try and salvage that one. The Polar Bears take a 2-point lead at 9-7. Sterrett, Miller, and Sterrett with a wide open part of the floor there. Ohio Northern leaving that right corner entirely unoccupied. Substitution. Kaylin Schreier comes in as Tate Eppard checks out. Schreier, a junior defensive specialist from New Knoxville. And you see, sometimes it doesn't take the big hit. That time, this little tip by Babst gets the point for Ohio Northern. 10-8 Polar Bears here in the second set. Leone, Miller, Sterrett, point Otterbein. Sterrett almost ended up there in the little stairwell for the official. 10-9 Ohio Northern. And the serve by Miller, who's usually very reliable, but she puts this one into the net. So a service error for Otterbein. Ohio Northern up 11-9. Early part of this second set. Harris, Miller, Sterrett, and she hits that right at McKenna Jordan, who can't handle it, and Otterbein down by 1 with serve. Shuck back in as Harris comes out. Hadley Sterrett to serve. Wade sets, and there's the kill as a demonstrative Chelsea Hufford gets the point for her team. Wade to serve for Ohio Northern. They lead 12-10 in the second set. Sterrett, Miller, Thornton. Had to kind of double clutch on that one, but it all works out. Otterbein gets the point, back to within one. Ashlyn Leone to serve for Otterbein. Dug out, set. Jordan, dug out by Sterrett, but they're going to call Otterbein for procedural error, let's call it. Technical term escapes me at the moment. So it's 13-11 Ohio Northern. Langston serving for the Polar Bears. Hadley Sterrett with the big hit, but into the net. Ohio Northern 14, Otterbein 11. And if you're a Cardinals fan, this is perhaps the point where you start getting a little nervous. Ohio Northern up one set already, and you don't want to fall behind too much more. Langston digs it out, set by Wade. And Thornton and Eppert are right there. I think Thornton was the one who actually touched it, just for a little tip to get the point for Otterbein. Hillary Sterrett checks in for Thornton, and she will also end up serving here. Hillary, a freshman, her sister Hadley, a junior, both of them from Huron. Leone, Shuck, and Sterrett. Don't get it across. Stuffed there up front by Eppert. Now this one, able to fall in, and Ohio Northern builds their lead to 3 at 15-12. Nizala serving for Ohio Northern. And the point for Otterbein as Miller sets up Eppert for the kill. Cardinals down by 2 here in the second set, and down by a set overall. You sort of feel like this place is almost ready to explode if Otterbein could get on a little bit of a run, but for now everybody's a little bit more on pins and needles. That'll get them feeling a little bit better about things. Otterbein gets the point, and down 15-14. Set by Wade, over by Babst. Set by Miller. Hadley Sterrett, soft touch, point Cardinals, even at 15. Update on men's soccer NCAA action just over at Memorial Stadium. Otterbein still leads Medaille 1-0. That one is wide. Otterbein now in the lead, 16-15. It's been a while since that's been the case. You hear the crowd perk up a bit, and they'll also decide to stand as Ohio Northern takes the timeout. So Otterbein leads 16-15 here in the second set. They trail Ohio Northern 1-0 in the second round NCAA matchup. It's been a while, so we'll remind you of what else happened in the OAC today in football. Otterbein defeated Marietta 48-14. Both those teams end up finishing the season at 6-4. Ohio Northern defeated Baldwin Wallace 42-25. A high-scoring affair between Capital and Heidelberg as Student Princes put up 63 points on the Crusaders. The Berg wins 63-20 in that one. Muskingum defeated Wilmington 41-7 to, I guess, drag Wilmington down to the bottom of the conference with them. Both teams finishing the year 2-8. And the marquee matchup in the OAC today, Mount Union, well, they do what they always do, and that's win. But when they only win by 7 points, it seems like something of an aberration. They defeated John Carroll 31-24 today. In NCAA tournament action in soccer, Ohio Northern defeated Penn State Barron 2-0. And like I said, in men's soccer right now, Otterbein and Medaille. Otterbein leading 1-0 with about 10 minutes left in the first half. Back to action here. Eppert tips it over. Dug out and not saved ultimately. Starrett hit it. Miller tried to dive for it, but Ohio Northern gets the point and evens it up at 16. Michaela Charlo to serve for the Polar Bears. Harris hits that really long. Leone and Hillary Starrett gets it over. There's Nizala, and that's going to be touching the net there by Ohio Northern. Otterbein gets the point. They go back up 17-16. Schreier will come in for Leone and do what she did the last time, and that's go right to the service line. Wade sets it up. Dug out by Starrett. Set by Miller. Hadley Starrett gets it in. You saw the Polar Bears just sort of all watch that one go, thinking perhaps it would be long, but it clearly hit well within, and by well within, let's say 2 inches of that back line. Dig by Langston, set by Wade, and the point earned by Haley Potters. Otterbein 18, Ohio Northern 17. Second set with Ohio Northern taking over on the serve. Starrett, Miller, Starrett, dug out by Nizala. King Mendenhall, then Miller, and it is out. 18 all between Ohio Northern and Otterbein in this second set. Backing up, but Harris gets it. Now Miller and Starrett. Attack by Jordan is hit way into the stands by Olivia Harris. And the lead seesaws back in favor of the Polar Bears at 19-18. Ohio Northern won the first set 25-21. The second set pretty much right around the similar type of score. Nobody seems to get too far ahead or too far behind, but right now is the time where Ohio Northern would like to maybe try and demoralize the host school at this point. Otterbein, again, if you're just tuning in, Otterbein without OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp, who was ruled out shortly before game time with an injury. I don't know that if Otterbein were to advance, if she's available tomorrow. But right now for the Cardinals, the most pressing concern is that they win this set and then they win this match before worrying about what personnel they have for any potential match in the future. While we're waiting, we'll see if we can get an update here in men's soccer. Still 1-0, Otterbein leading Medaille in men's NCAA tournament soccer late in the first half of that one. If you'd like to listen to that game, maybe watch this and tune in to the radio broadcast. You can hear Hayden Heilshorn on the call on 97.5 WOBN or listen on WOBN.net and just follow the Listen Live link. Miller, Starrett, and then her sister Hadley gets it across. Yep. There with the big hit and earning the point is Haley Potters. She's had a couple big kills here in the second set. Otterbein down by 2, 20-18. Serves on its way. Hillary Starrett, Andrea Miller, Alana King-Mendenhall gets it over. Jordan, then touched first by Starrett, cleared over by Harris. Jordan blocked by King Mendenhall and Miller, but they're not able to do anything with it afterwards. ONU up 21-18. And this is where, if you're Otterbein, you probably feel like you need to take this point to keep it from getting to be too much of a lead to overcome. And that one is just long. Otterbein choosing to watch that one go, and it lands just beyond the line. So the Cardinals down 2 at 21-19, and Andrea Miller serving. Wade sets. Jordan glances that one off of King Mendenhall, and Ohio Northern up 22-19. And they have the serve with Haley Potters back for the Polar Bears. Starrett, Miller, Thornton, point Otterbein. 22-20 Ohio Northern here in the second set. Emily Shuck checks in to give Otterbein a little more height there at the front. Coming out to Olivia Harris and Hadley Starrett to serve. Wade sets. Jordan blocked, and again it's almost like sometimes those softer hits or softer attacks are the ones they've had a little more trouble with, as they block it but then they can't do anything with it after. 23-20 Ohio Northern, second set. And that serve is long, so Ohio Northern fans, especially the ones down at that end, don't particularly care for that call, but whether it was correct or whether Otterbein caught a break, that's what the call will be. Otterbein down 23-21. Miller, Starrett, Shuck, and Otterbein has it to within one at 23-22. Timeout, Ohio Northern. A nail biter here in the second set of the NCAA Division III Women's Volleyball Championship second round match between Otterbein and Ohio Northern. Third time these teams have played this season. Second time they've played in a week, essentially. They faced off 1 week ago in this very building. Otterbein did not have any difficulty in that match, winning in straight sets. But things are a little bit different. First of all, it's the third time you're seeing a team in a season. Second time basically within a week. And you're doing it without the unanimous player of the year in the conference. Update in men's soccer, NCAA action. Otterbein 1, Medaille nothing. 4:31 to go in the first half there. Ohio Northern leads 23-22 in this second set. Otterbein trying to match them with set wins if they can squeak out another 3 points here. Ashlyn Leone will be serving for Otterbein. Jordan can't be dug out by Miller, and it is set point for Ohio Northern. They lead 24-22. And we've got another timeout. So obviously 2 big points coming. Well, 1 big point in the immediate play of the game, and 2 potential for Otterbein. They need to get the next 2, or else this one is going to be done, and they'll be being down 2 sets to none. Not to say, of course, that can't, that can't be overcome. Last night, Ohio Northern was up 2 sets to none on DePaul, and ended up having to go 5 sets and winning 17-15 in the 5th. So, if you're an Otterbein fan watching, maybe nerve-wracking, but still plenty of opportunity for Otterbein to even this thing up. I'm Mark Pfeiffer. You're watching Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. Thanks for watching wherever that may be, whether that's here just somewhere around the corner in Westerrville or halfway around the world. McKenna Jordan, a sophomore from Toledo, to serve for the set for Ohio Northern. Starrett, Miller, Thornton, and Jordan had the initial touch, but it can't be saved. Otterbein down 24-23. Hillary Starrett will serve to take this one to 24 all. Or so Otterbein hopes. Jordan, Wade. Set by Miller. Blocked to front. And Ohio Northern, they get it. That is the second set for them. So ONU wins the first set 25-21. They win the second set 25-23. They've got to be feeling good about things, but like I said, last night they had a 2-0 advantage and got taken all the way to the very end to be able to advance to tonight. So Otterbein down 2-0, but still potentially a lot of action to go in this one for them. We'll see if we can get maybe if that scores at halftime of Otterbein Medaille men's soccer over at Memorial Stadium. Still a couple minutes to go yet, but Otterbein still leading 1-0 in that. The goal in that coming by Noah Coons for the Cardinals. Doesn't look like Cardinal goalkeeper Colin Hoffman's been challenged too much. Just one save for him in the first half, so makes it easy enough way to win if the other team doesn't get any shots. They're certainly not going to beat you, and at this point wouldn't even be able to tie it up. So they are at halftime now between Otterbein and Medaille men's soccer NCAA action. The Cardinals up 1-0 in that one. So like I said, if you'd like to listen to that, well, perhaps you keep the video up for this. You can tune into 97.5 FM WOBN if you're within the listening range in Westerrville, and if you're not, you can go to WOBN.net and click on the Listen Live link. That should bring up a tune-in player that you can select and then listen to Hayden Heilshorn with the call of Otterbein men's soccer. The winner of this match today in the second round match between Otterbein and Ohio Northern will get Wittenberg. So it's, you know, obviously it's a great thing to advance. If you do so, you're playing the #1 team in the nation. Wittenberg winning 3-0 over Penn State Barron on Friday, 3-1 over Juniata earlier this afternoon. So it certainly a team that seems to be playing pretty well, but of what I was able to see of their match today, it did seem like Wittenberg got a little bit of trouble from Juniata. It wasn't, you know, it was not quite the sweep that what you had over Penn State Barron for them. Both teams about ready to begin play in the third set. Kind of everybody checking in with one another, making sure they're ready to go. I will say, you know, for the late news close to game time, Otterbein hasn't looked tight. It's just been a case of, you know, they're playing a very familiar and very talented opponent today. Starrett gets it over. Now she'll tip this one across and point to Otterbein. So, I mean, it doesn't mean anything, of course, but all three of these sets, Otterbein has been first to get on the scoreboard. They lead 1-0 here. Hadley Starrett serves. Wade sets. Jordan gets it across. Dug out by Hadley Starrett. Emily Schuck gets the point for Otterbein. I think if you're head coach Monica Wright, perhaps what you might like to see at this point is the Cardinals to build themselves a little bit of a cushion of a lead, because this has tended to be both sets a case of the team sort of being back and forth and being very close all the way up until it reaches about that 20-point mark, and then Ohio Northern's been able to sneak out a few extra to pull away and claim those sets. Otterbein does get the first 3 points of this one, which will merit a timeout by Ohio Northern, as obviously they would prefer to finish this one now and not take it beyond this set. If you're Otterbein, you want it going all the way to 5. Otterbein for the first time hosting the women's volleyball championship, the regional round, and that's in large part because this is the best season an Otterbein team has had in school history. The Cardinals are 30-3 at this point. It's the most wins an Otterbein team has had, and they're hoping to build that by, well, 5 more ideally, but at this point by 1 more. As we're back to action, Hadley Sterrett gets it across. Jordan dug out by Sterrett. Miller, Eppard with the spike. Shuck, Leone, that's over, and you can see that's just one of those where it's kind of in a place where your own teammates can't hit it anymore, but it's a big fat ball waiting for the other side to smash back to get the point. 3-1 Otterbein here in the 3rd set. Thornton with the kill. Otterbein 4, Ohio Northern 1. Substitution, Alana King-Mendenhall will come into the action as Tate Eppard leaves. King-Mendenhall, a junior from Columbus, attended North International. Jordan with the monster spike, and Otterbein's lead trimmed to 4-2. Katie Wade to serve for Ohio Northern as they hope to claim this set and call it a night. But Otterbein hoping to extend things. King-Mendenhall tips it over. Huppert for Ohio Northern. Now King-Mendenhall with a little bit harder hit, but into the net is the call. Ohio Northern gets the point and now trails at 4-3. Wade serves. King-Mendenhall saves, and Miller saves, and Thornton will get it over. Jordan not able to be returned by Thornton as she went up for the block, and we're tied at 4. Wade serving. Hadley Sterrett dig. Miller with kind of a different sort of set, and King-Mendenhall got it over. Thornton dives and touches it. Leone then to Sterrett. Nuzala for Ohio Northern. Miller. Shuck blocked, but Leone sets. Miller puts it up for Sterrett, and she's too strong with that one. Ohio Northern 5, Otterbein 4. Wade really with no movement on that ball as she serves it. Shuck blocked, and Ohio Northern now up 6-4. If you're here cheering on the Polar Bears, you may feel like perhaps this is the push that they can put in to perhaps finish off this Otterbein team. King-Mendenhall gets it over for the Cardinals. Jordan blocked by Thornton and King-Mendenhall. Leone digs it, set by Miller. Shuck. And the attack by by Huppert gets the point for Ohio Northern. 7-4 Polar Bears here in the 3rd set. They lead 2-0. Otterbein playing without OAC Player of the Year Morgan Lowenkamp because of an injury earlier today. Wade gets it across. King-Mendenhall to Miller to Shuck, and that's too strong. 8 for Ohio Northern. Otterbein will take a timeout as this one does feel like it's starting to get away from them. They trailed 2-0. They trail by 4 points here in the 3rd set, and it has been I believe, 6 points in a row for Ohio Northern. I don't have the numbers directly in front of me, but if memory serves, that's what they've been able to rattle off at this point. So Otterbein sports today, they've had a win in football with the team going down to Marietta and defeating the Pioneers 48-14. They currently lead in men's soccer at halftime. It's 1-0 Otterbein over Medaille in a first-round NCAA tournament game. The men's soccer team, or excuse me, the men's cross-country team earned a 10th place finish out of 36 teams in the Great Lakes Regional in Powell, Ohio. Wyatt Gardner was the top runner for Otterbein. He had an individual finish of 48th place. Junior Trevor Dilley was 54th, and junior Ian Kellogg was 69th for the top 3 Cardinal runners, finishing inside the top 70. The women's cross-country team, it was an even better day. They finished in 4th place out of 35 teams at the regional. Claire Lamb and Heather Sandvik were 3rd and 4th individually. They will go to the NCAA tournament, or the NCAA championships next weekend in Illinois. The team awaits word if they will get a non-automatic bid to those championships. They'll find out tomorrow at 3 p.m. Otterbein finally breaks that serve for Ohio Northern. Let's see if they can put a couple more points on the board. Well, not right there, they won't. It's 9-5 Polar Bears. As this team for Ohio Northern really has just been able to consistently handle anything Otterbein's thrown at them. And you can see how Otterbein does miss Lowenkamp. They don't have some of the power that they would ordinarily have up there at the front. (10-5) Ohio Northern on that serve by Langston that the Cardinals can't return. Leone, Miller, and Sterrick gets it over. Langston with a low first touch on the dig that doesn't get back, so Otterbein cuts it to 10-6. Shuck is out, Schreier is in, and we'll see if perhaps she can get Otterbein on a run to even this thing up in the set, or perhaps even take a lead back. Well, it won't happen there. Chelsea Huppert gets the point. Otterbein down by 5 at 11-6. Now's when the Cardinals need to start scoring them in bunches. Miller sets it for Hadley Sterritt. We haven't seen her be able to get some of those bigger hits here of late. And even when she has, you've been able to see that handled by Ohio Northern. They get the point. They go up 12-6. Uzala serves. And Hillary Sterritt having to go to her knees to try and save that one on the dig. And Otterbein rapidly finding this one not going their way in a fashion that I think is probably not very encouraging. They're down 13-6 here in the 3rd set. Ohio Northern already with 2 sets in their column, so they're just 12 points away from being able to prepare for the regional final tomorrow. But if it's any consolation, Otterbein has defeated this team twice before. They won at Ada, Ohio back on October 14th in 5 sets. They won here last Saturday in the OAC Tournament Championship in straight sets. So while the scoreboard does not look promising for Otterbein, you never know what they might be able to pull out from this point on. While we've got this moment in this break in the action, I will see if I would be able to find out if second half has started over there in Otterbein soccer. Maybe still a little too early for that. So in fact it is. They're still at halftime, but Otterbein men's soccer up 1-0 on Medaille in the first round of the NCAA tournament, also being hosted here in Westerrville. Nuzala serving for Ohio Northern. King Mendenhall gets the point for the Cardinals without attack. Otterbein down 13-7. Leone is out, Eppert is in, and King Mendenhall to serve. And that one's going to be just a little too long. Unforced error there on the serve. Otterbein down 14-7. Everything looked like it couldn't go better last night for Otterbein as they beat Cabrini in the first round in straight sets, but so far today it's been much tougher sledding. Attack by Eppert. Otterbein will get it. May not all look as either well designed or as pretty, but that gets the job done. Marie Thornton re-enters as Hillary Sterrett goes out. Andrea Miller to serve. Block up front by Hadley Sterrett and Tate Eppert. Otterbein down 14-9. A little trouble, but they get that serve across. Setting up for Thornton. Leone, Miller, Eppert. And they're going to say point for Otterbein. So 14-10. A little bit of a rally. It's only 2 points there on the serves by Miller, but it's something. And it looks like it'll be 3 in a row as Ohio Northern a little scatter shot on covering that one. So 14-11. If your hopes were dimming for Otterbein, well, perhaps things are in the middle of turning around for them. 14-11 Ohio Northern here in the third set. The Polar Bears lead 2-0. As we'll see what they all can draw up during this break in the action. While we've got this timeout, allow me to say thanks to our camera operators today, Shalisha Petit-D and Daisy Dunbar, back in the control room here at the Rike Center, and thanks to our director Kira Hackman. I think one thing that's oftentimes falls by the wayside is losing sight of the number of people it can take to pull off an event like this, and although it doesn't necessarily take as many as it once used to because of technology, still value the help that we're able to get here from the students at Otterbein Sports on TNC Media to bring this to you. That last serve was long, so it's 15-11 Ohio Northern. 2 unforced errors here recently by Otterbein on serves that the sort of things that probably give you nightmares if things don't end up ultimately going your way. And a point again for the Polar Bears, 16-11. They're just 9 points away from finishing this one off. Sterrett will get it over. Wade sets for Jordan. Sterrett. And again, I think just a little bit of miscommunication there as to where people were going to be, as that one was kind of set up and then there was nobody there to cover it. 17-11, Otterbein trails by 6. Sterrett, dug out by Nuzala. Jordan blocked by Eppert and Thornton. Sterrett, Miller, Thornton. Otterbein gets the point. They're down 17-12. Now, all the points obviously are big at this juncture. Otterbein down 2-0 and down 5 points in this third set. They need everyone they can manage. Shuck has the attack hit right into her, and Haley Potters will get the kill for the Polar Bears. They are up 18-12. Substitution for Otterbein. Bethany Eipert is in for Shuck. First time I recall seeing Eipert in today, but it's possible that she eluded me getting in earlier. The spike is out by Eppard. I think Ohio Northern can feel it. They're only 6 points away from sweeping Otterbein in this one. Miller and Eipert gets it over. Jordan digs. Thornton, Miller, Eipert, Otterbein gets the point. 19-13 Ohio Northern here in the third set. Leone serves, and that one is not handled well, but Ohio Northern, well, they make a valiant effort but aren't able to do anything with it. If you're Otterbein, you hope Ashlyn Leone can rip off a few points on this serve. Otterbein down by 5 in the third set. Now Chelsea Huppert, I don't know, she at one point led the team in kills, and I would suspect she probably still does. She does it again there. 2014 Polar Bears. Starrett diving for it. And ONU is just 4 points away from advancing to the regional final. Thornton gets the point for Otterbein on that kill. She'll come out. Hillary Starrett will come in. Who will go right in to serve. 21-15 Ohio Northern here in the third set. And just as we've seen, really, I think today the difference in the matchup has been the front line play. Otterbein without Morgan Lowenkamp, not making an excuse, but certainly that front with Huppert and Jordan have oftentimes been pretty formidable for Ohio Northern, and have seemed to win a lot of those battles at the net. Miller trying to get a fast point. She sets it here. Hadley Starrett gets it over. And there you see that miscommunication. Is there are plenty of people around where the ball landed, but nobody was decisive and took it. 23-15 Ohio Northern, just 2 points away from the win. Langston serves. Leone, Miller, Starrett. And they find that soft spot. Point to Ohio Northern. And if you're an Otterbein fan, it doesn't look good. Ohio Northern up by 9, serving for the match. Langston serve. Starrett, Miller, King Mendenhall. Wade sets, Huppert finishes it off. Ohio Northern wins 3-0 to advance to the regional final tomorrow afternoon versus Wittenberg. That will be at 2 tomorrow afternoon here at the Rike Center. Otterbein eliminated with the loss here to Ohio Northern, 25-21, 25-23, 25-15. The Cardinals finished the season at 30-4. And while I imagine it has to be disappointing today, they certainly have to be proud of themselves for having a season in which they won more games than any other volleyball team in Otterbein history. They were the first team who actually were able to earn the ability for an Otterbein volleyball team to host a regional such as this. Obviously, if things could have been different, you would have really preferred to have seen them be able to play this today with Morgan Lowenkamp. Again, I'm not suggesting that it's the result of any one player being out, but certainly if you're not able to go with the OAC Player of the Year, who was in a unanimous selection, that does put you at a disadvantage than if you'd been able to have her in the lineup. But still, Otterbein put in a good effort today, and I think the other thing to remember is it's the third time these teams have faced off this season. It is the second time since last Saturday. It's always hard to beat one team 3 times in 1 year, and especially in a situation like this with escalated stakes out there. We will see a little bit of a presentation to the Otterbein participants in this NCAA tournament. It had been a while since Otterbein had played in the postseason like this, so like I said, while I imagine there's going to be some frustration on their part in how today went, they should be pleased with the accomplishment that they've been able to have this season in what they achieved. It's only the 5th NCAA appearance for an Otterbein volleyball team, and the most wins for one in school history. So that's something for them to be able to leave. Maybe not so much tonight. Maybe it takes a little while, but I think it's a look back. They can feel very proud of how this year's gone for them. Update in men's soccer. The Otterbein men's team in the second half, they lead Medaille College 1-0, 38:53 to go in that one with the last information available to me. You can flip over to 97.5 FM WOBN and WOBN.net to hear Hayden Heilshorn with the call on that one. I will point out, if Otterbein wins today in men's soccer, I will have the radio broadcast tomorrow versus the Kenyan Transylvania winner in the other game being played here. That will be at 5 p.m. on the radio on Sunday, so be sure to tune into that if the result continues to hold that we currently have in the men's soccer game. Now you see Lowenkamp given her plaque, and the Otterbein team, showing their appreciation for their coaches. Otterbein finishes 30-4 on the season, losing today in the second round of the NCAA tournament to Ohio Northern in 3 sets, 25-21, 25-23, and 25-15. That'll do it for us here today at the Rike Center. Thanks to Daisy Dunbar, Shalisha Petit-D, and Kara Hackman for helping get this out there to you on the internet to watch. Hopefully it's been a pleasant viewing experience for you. I'm Mark Pfeiffer. Thanks for watching Otterbein Sports on TNC Media. We'll see you next time.